Hello, it's me.
Good to see you guys today. Hope you are having a good one. I have an awesome video here. As usual, I'm a terrible YouTuber, but we've got this guy. I love this guy. His name is Cash Jordan. Cash Money Jordan. Love this guy. He does some of the funniest stuff. He's great. He's one of those people that they say, okay, well, cows are flying in New York City. And he's like, so I went to New York and I interviewed all the cows. He's one of those guys. But thank you so much for all your support. I keep saying that every video. I'm just tickled silly that you guys have given me so much watch time. I mean, we're at 4 subs. I just started this channel this month. I believe it was the end of September, early October. So very excited about the growth here. We've got tons of watch hours. You guys are, I guess, enjoying the comments and the content and leaving me lots of nice messages when you can. So thank you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you are new. But without further ado, let's hop into this video.
Anti-ICE rioters continuing their siege in Portland, Oregon. Officials say this has been going on nearly every single night for the last 100 nights.
So, Portland continues to experience night after night of riots, which local officials don't seem to want to stop. And when you see Portland police watching the chaos but deliberately keeping their distance, the federal government has no choice but to deploy an ever-growing armada of troops and ICE tactical units with the goal of ending Antifa's occupation of Portland once
it looks like a third world
for
country.
all.
Things have gotten pretty tense in the last couple of minutes here. There are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle getting upset with each other. There was quite a bit of a confrontation just a couple of moments ago. You can see ICE agents as well on top of the building.
I have not heard about a riot in Portland since 2020.
I don't see the need for the National Guard at this time. I really believe that we've got a handle on it.
Like, I heard the military was coming, I was like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, real talk though, like I have some customers that I do work for and they just moved from Portland, Oregon within the last 2 months. Like I just did their house a couple of days ago, and they were talking about, all the news and the media is like, why would we send the guard? Why would we do that? And I talked to them. I said, what do you think about Portland right now with all the riots and the protests and all that? And they're like, it is an absolute dumpster fire, and we got away immediately, and we'll never be going back. It's beautiful, but it's not worth it. And that's what they said to me. So be it as it may.
They threw multiple punches at me. They broke my camera. I saw the opportunity to get up and get away. That's when I went over to the police officers, which I thought, maybe they'd help me. But no, instead they threw me in handcuffs. They take the side of the violent criminals that are here every single day.
It looks like Democrats have chosen in Oregon's governor to literally say, we're going to defend our violent rioting.
This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city. It is not their city. It is the American people's city, and President Trump is going to restore that.
This is insane. Like it's like a big
Portland is so
mob.
out of control. There have been discussions of sending elite troops into the city. But what nobody's talking about is you wouldn't need Navy SEALs or Army Rangers
Portland's
in a
been on
U.S.
fire
city
for 100
if that
days.
city would just enforce its own rules, which Portland, Oregon just will not do. In fact, this place cultivates lawlessness and is made up of so many Antifa mob members. Their views and votes now decide local elections and dictate local policies, which are deliberately designed to fuel the progressive
chat. Anytime in any country and any place on the earth, if you throw something at someone, if you throw anything and you do not get arrested immediately, we need new officials. We need to kick everyone out. We need to impeach. We need to start over. The National Guard needs to be called. That's my opinion on it.
The violence movement taking over left field America. But here's the thing, Portland may have continued to get away with this if it weren't also a sanctuary city. Because it's one thing to harbor your own local criminals and let them destroy your city and force out businesses. But once a place starts harboring federal fugitives, it becomes a danger to all of America. And now that Portland is ground zero for Antifa, a terror group, the writing is on the wall. And that brings us to the real reason: a never-ending armada of troops, ICE agents, military forces are headed into Portland to restore order, and they're not going to stop coming until that job is done, because this place is so lawless, it's now not just a plague upon itself, but on our entire country. And with news traveling across America in real time, it's a big problem if the Antifa crowds here manage to force ICE out of their city. Because once that happens on the streets of Portland, you're gonna start seeing it everywhere else. And these rioters fear nothing. Watch the left side of your screen.
Oh, no. If you ever assault a police officer, even if it's a push, handcuff him, curb stomp him, I don't care what you do to him.
And it's un-American. No American who loves law enforcement and respect our troops would ever put their hands on somebody in uniform. But that's what we just saw. These people are out of their minds. Which explains why they fight tooth and nail to enter the local...
Like, they are within their right. If they think you're going to hurt them, they can shoot you. Legally. Maybe, you know, some of these people will weed themselves out. I don't know.
Local deportation jailhouse, but suspiciously change their minds and want to leave when ICE troops give them their own personal tour of the place. You've got to understand that getting carried into this place, that's not what these people want. They want to go in with all their friends, with the entire mob, and free the fugitives who are in America illegally and are some of the most dangerous people on the entire planet. You got gang members, you got criminals, and they're out there rioting to protect them. It doesn't make sense until you realize this place as a sanctuary city which harbors criminals is now being run by those exact same people who just want to see more lawlessness.
These are citizens. Like, these are white people.
Which they think is a good thing. A situation which perfectly explains the non-action of Portland's police, which just seem to hang around and watch things from the sidelines. Because those police, even though they're supposed to be out there enforcing the law and doing their job and keeping Portland safe, they answer to people like this.
I am sick and tired of watching the people in my community getting brutalized because they are immigrants or because they dare to speak up.
Excuse me, ma'am. Where's your green card? Do you have one? ICE, we got another one.
I am sick and tired of it, and
we got another one.
Of your lip service. Show up and do something.
So that person right there, they're expressing
the
majority sanctuary viewpoint in this place, and that is who decides elections here. And if that's who decides elections here, that's who every local city official answers to. Which perfectly explains why the Portland police took the entire summer off from making any arrests outside their local ICE jail. Why arrest the mob when they're the ones in charge? When your job and your position depend on making them happy. When that's the case, the mob has to be protected. These foot soldiers of the party of political violence, they run the show. However, the rest of America, who just elected the ultimate law and order president, is furious about it. And as you're about to see, the rest of America and the people who live in Portland have very different definitions of what constitutes a riot.
Because of Oregon's sanctuary city status, PPB does not help with immigration enforcement. Here's video from Tuesday night. It's when DHS claims more than 100 rioters, quote, stormed the city facility, and they arrested 6 people.
I have not heard about a riot in Portland since 2020.
At the same time, Portland police told us they did not declare a riot.
Wow, so over 100 sanctuary mob members storming the federal government's building, forcing armed troops to come out and restore order. Nope, not a riot. That's nothing. To us in Portland, a riot doesn't happen until the entire place has been sent back to the Stone Age and is just a pile of rubble. Then maybe we'll think about declaring a riot. That's the problem. The mob that runs this place sees this as just another normal day. Business as usual. Peaceful, protected activism. Even though it's these rioters who agitate and antagonize law enforcement, only to provoke the desired crackdown these madmen want. They want the crackdown.
Haven't made any arrests.
I don't see the need for the National Guard at this time. I really believe that we've got a handle on it.
Just a few blocks away, people at Elizabeth Carruthers Park did their midweek shopping at the popular farmers market there. Many asking us if we were there to capture the, quote, war-ravaged Portland.
It is war-ravaged.
It is. It feels silly. Like, I heard the military was coming, I was like, for what?
Yeah. I think it's...
For what? Like, oh my goodness. Like, what? The military's coming? Like, dude, like, what?
Oh my goodness. So look, so you got this farmer's market here where the Antifa people sell vegetables when they're not rioting. And just because they're not destroying their own little pop-up tent shop doesn't mean the place is not a lawless plague upon America. And the police chief here, he's taking a lot of flack for saying he's got a handle on things in Portland. But remember, who decides how long he keeps his job? President Trump or the local mob and the local mayor and the governor? He's got to answer to the people who are fueling all of this madness. And let's be real, you wouldn't end up being the police chief of a place like this if you didn't sympathize with the rioters in some way. Which explains why local police...
You know, you build 100 bridges, you lick a wiener, you're a wiener licker.
Will not intervene in a situation that is completely repulsive to most of our country, unless, of course, the mob are the ones that want the police to intervene and arrest somebody. Then it seems like they've got no problem taking down who the mob says, that guy, get him.
Now, things ramped up early this morning after the arrest of a conservative influencer from Washington, D.C. named Nick Sortor and 2 others involved in a disruption.
This is America. This is America. This is America.
That's terrible.
You see how she got violent? He should have dropped her, man. Honestly, if she came charging at me, like, I'd bury her.
This guy's surrounded.
He said he tried to disengage and sought refuge near local police.
So instead, the police are so scared of the mob, they arrest the one guy who's getting attacked.
But they arrested him.
That's so crazy, man. So this guy is out there getting attacked, and he goes over to the police who are just hanging out, watching everything, tries to get their help, and he's the one that ends up in jail. That's wild. But this is what the mob expects of their sanctuary police. They want their police to take their side and go out there and not only arrest somebody who might be a counter-protester or an independent...
I just don't understand. Like, how can this happen? How can it be everybody? Like, it's a virus. It's a mind virus. I mean, we need to nuke them off the face of the earth. Like, these people are killing each other. They're destroying each other. They're destroying a city, and there's innocent people there who are having to pay for it. Why is it that we can't arrest, attack, hurt people that attack others? Why can't we attack others who attack us legally? I mean, the law, we're supposed to be able to do that. But I think the issue here is no one's doing it. The police aren't doing their job. The mob, they're scared to death of the mob. The chief is licking wieners to keep his job. The governor hates Trump with all his heart, you know. This is a messed up situation.
Independent journalist who's going to film what's going on here and let America make up their own minds about this. They also want their sanctuary police, if possible, to combat the federal government. That's what they think their police are there for, to stick up for them and for their rights and for lawlessness. But there's another aspect to this legalized, state-sponsored lawlessness, which is what it is at this point, that nobody's talking about.
State-sponsored lawlessness.
You're looking at video captured by Corn 6 cameras of the peak of protests in South Portland from early June, when Portland police say they made several arrests and spent nearly $438,000 in overtime.
$138,000 in overtime is what that cost them to enforce the law once before they gave up for the rest of the summer. Also, to be fair, if this was the peak of the riots, I don't think we've yet come down from that point. It's still wild out here, and it seems to be getting worse. But when you look at how businesses are just running away from Portland as fast as they can, it's obvious they don't have the money to enforce the lawlessness going on here. There's so much lawlessness, they'll go bankrupt if they try to stop it. The mob has...
Trump needs to allow live ammunition to be used to get rid of these people. These people who are hurting, attacking, label them terrorists, domestic terrorists. I mean, terrorist organizations, right? They get the death penalty. Drug dealers get the death penalty. Why can't we do it with this? Do you honestly think any of these people who are bombing, killing other people, threatening people, all these people engaged in lawlessness, do you not think that they're going to meet their end some way, somehow? It's written in the Bible, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. These people are living by the sword. I think it's about time for the country to let them die by their own sword. You know, they'll get themselves. I know that's probably like an intense viewpoint or radical viewpoint, but I'm very much so a believer in eye for an eye. Like if they attack you, you attack them with whatever means necessary. And I think there needs to be a level of respect there. So like there needs to be a legitimate fear that if a protester hits or attacks a federal government officer or a police officer, they need to fear that that police officer will shoot and bury them. Once that is a fear, all of this will go away. And the police don't have to enforce the law. They just have to show up. But that can't be done until we get a little more money and the police are allowed to do their job. I mean, this is such a crap show.
Already won.
This is, by the way, there was a movement of this not too long ago called Defund the Police. This is what it looks like in reality. I mean, this is legitimately what it looks like.
In Portland. They can't afford to do anything, and even if they could, they certainly wouldn't want to because they would just be angering those who run this place.
Owner and executive chef Lisa Schroeder shared her unoccupied dining room on Instagram.
We've had homeless, like every city. And there's protests outside of ICE, like every city.
Not every city.
No, but what's different about Portland, Oregon, is that people left the office buildings.
Yes, they did.
And then didn't go back after.
Yeah, they left, and they're not coming back. That's a big problem. And if you don't have business...
And by the way, when businesses go away, customers go away. When crime goes up, people go away, right? Population decreases. So now you have more lawless people doing whatever the crap they want, and you don't have enough money coming in to pay the police officers, which is exactly what's happened. It's happening in California too. It happened in California.
You don't have people working. If all the wealth gets drained out of this place because it's so poorly run that nobody wants to be there, it's not going to be any money around for police, which means they end up getting defunded, which perfectly explains why this is Antifa's headquarters.
God, I haven't watched this, and I hit that dead on the head. This is what defunding the police looks like, for sure.
In fact, this is such a problem for Portland that even the governor, who's totally in the tank for the rioters and says there's no need for military troops and says that Portland is perfectly fine, even she wants to roll back taxes so businesses stop fleeing and running away from this place, taking all of the wealthy workers and salarymen with them. And as you're about to see, these businesses, it's not that they're closing down their Portland office and vanishing. No, they're closing down and then reopening somewhere else where they don't have Portland's problems to deal with.
Downtown Portland's office vacancy rate rose from 34.6% last quarter from 33.3% in the second quarter.
Just going up.
And this week, Wells Fargo also announced 50 more layoffs at its downtown office. By the end of this year, the bank plans to exit its offices in Portland as it moves operations to other states.
Yeah, if you lose your anchor tenant, Wells Fargo, I mean, the writing's on the wall. What a bang.
Bro, it's cooked. It's beyond cooked. If Wells Fargo leaves Portland, it's going to be a third world country, and there won't be any saving it except through having armed militia there 24/7.
Bank packs up and leaves.
Which wastes taxpayer money, by the way.
That building is going to be empty for a long time.
We shouldn't have to.
Maybe they'll rent it out to Antifa. They got more Antifa
But
people
Trump
showing
will
up
if he
here
needs to.
every single week. And as much as Portland's leaders remain defiant, they know they're caught between a mob and a hard place on this one because there's no
That's right.
money. And the mob wants money. It
money.
can't exist without sponsorship from the state. How else
They'll
do you
just
think
go
these people
somewhere
can
else.
live on the streets constantly? And even if the state isn't depositing money into these people's bank accounts, the fact that their lawlessness is allowed here allows these groups to fundraise and bring in money from external lawless sources who the U.S. government also better start investigating.
Well, look, let's start with where Bill
That's
Melugin
right.
is. In Oregon, you
He's
already
dead on.
have Tina Kotek, the Oregon governor, out there resisting, saying that they want to sue to block for the National Guard from coming in. And you've seen most of the Oregon Democrat leaders resisting ICE's crackdown and federal law enforcement. But yet you look at the scenes of the past 100
Terrible.
nights, it looks like Democrats have chosen, and Oregon's governor, to literally say, we're going to defend our violent rioting. And in this
Yeah.
case, assaults on this conservative journalist. It's beyond me how
It's
it is that
insane.
Democrats arrive at that destination.
Get
So
the
they
heck
arrived
out,
at that
brother.
destination because they
Leave.
got in the car and they drove there. That's what happens
Yeah.
when you stop arresting criminals. If you're going to let lawlessness abound and then on top of that you're going to become a sanctuary city, this is exactly where you're going to end up.
That's right.
And once you're there, everything we're seeing is what happens next. Portland
Defund
doesn't
the
arrest
police.
violent agitators.
Live.
They're a sanctuary city for criminals. And they're a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants. Anyone breaking the law here gets protected.
And
the law
Antifa.
abiding. They're the ones who are the target of all of this madness. And while this is forcing out businesses like Wells Fargo and shutting down restaurants, what this does mean is that
That
pretty
big ol'
soon the
heifer ran at
mob,
him
they're going to
quick.
be the only ones left in
She's
Portland.
chunky,
And
but
as
she
their
can
critical
move.
mass just expands and expands, they're going to tighten their stranglehold on this place and continue running it straight through the ground, which would be terrible for America. Because once that happens here, the mob is going to try to replicate that in other sanctuary cities and states. These sanctuary cities and states are a big problem for America. And the federal government, if they don't do something about it now, when will they? That's the question that I have. But what do you think? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.
All right, guys. All right, chat. That's about all we've got for today. Wow. That's insane. Like, you know, a lot of people are against defunding the police, and a lot of people on the liberal side are completely for it. They think police are the source of all problems. But as you've seen, that's not the case at all. And most policemen, if you actually talk to them, because there's thousands of really nice ones, they'll tell you the problems that they have. If you strike up a conversation with them, I got policemen that go to the gas station every day, and I meet with them every day. They know me by name, and I chat with them, and you know, I just formed a little relationship with them, and I talk to them all the time about stuff like that. And you know, it's an interesting experience. Let me say that, but it's hard to understand someone else's position if you don't listen. But, you know, this is the reality of what defund the police looks like. You know, it's a popular thing. I get it. We're wanting to be different. We're wanting to have something that we can fight for. I mean, I get it. But defund the police is not the way we do that. As Donald Trump has shown, whether you like him or not, the reality is he's extremely successful. And one of his premises is peace through strength. That means if they hit us, we hit them so hard, it is a decisive knockout. It is a decisive knockout, no getting up. We hit them so overwhelmingly hard that there's no resistance from here on out. Unfortunately, that's what peace through strength means. And if we don't have to do that, then we keep peace just by being present. And that's what needs to happen in Portland, Oregon. We need a presence that is overwhelmingly decisive. These people need discipline, and they need to be punished for what they're doing. And I believe, you know, we're catering to these criminals because we're so soft on crime still, which is something I don't agree with the Republicans. I'm very kind of heck, fire, and brimstone. A lot of times I believe eye for an eye is the biblical model. As a result, it's the way that I feel is just in God's eyes as far as the law is concerned. But then again, that's not the world we live in. That's just a personal opinion. But anyway, other than that, the good news is that we are all alive and well. You're watching this YouTube video. I'm hoping you're healthy and have a good day and you're at peace. And I hope that you got something out of this video, if not just for entertainment itself. I'm a terrible YouTuber, but I'm doing my best. Thank you for spending time here. If you watched the entire video, leave me a comment saying, Parker, I watched the entire video. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.